Here is a fact that should break your retirement spreadsheet in half. There is a town in Texas where the median home costs less than a one-bedroom condo in Austin. And the local hospital was ranked among the top 100 in the entire country. Most retirees have never even heard its name. They are too busy Googling Florida, and that is the problem. Everyone hears Texas and thinks hot, flat, no income tax, end of story. That reputation is doing a lot of work, and most of it is flat out wrong. Right now, retirees on real budgets are quietly building better lives in towns you have never seen on a single brochure. Lakeside porches, $250,000 homes, opera houses from the 1800s, hospitals that outrank big city ones. We are counting down 10 of them, starting from number 10 and ending with the one almost nobody knows. Hit subscribe so you don't miss number 1. It's the one that changes everything. Number 10, Granbury. 40 miles southwest of Fort Worth, sitting on a lake that did not even exist before 1969, is a town that looks like a Hollywood set designer was asked to build the perfect Texas town. And accidentally got it right. Granbury has a courthouse square on the National Register of Historic Places, limestone buildings glowing in the afternoon sun, and an 1886 opera house that still hosts live theater on weekends. The downtown is so well preserved that visitors drive in from across the state just to walk around it. Population, around 12,000. Median home price? Roughly $370,000. And no, that is not a typo. You can find a small lakeside place in Granbury for less than what people in California pay for a used Tesla. Here is what makes Granbury actually work for retirees. Lake Granbury stretches for miles with quiet coves, marinas, and lakefront restaurants where the menu has not changed since 1992 and nobody is complaining. The town also has a real hospital, Lake Granbury Medical Center, with 24-hour emergency services. That matters more than the brochures ever admit when you are 68 and your knee makes a sound it has never made before. The catch nobody mentions? Granbury is exploding. The population has more than tripled since 2000. Retirees who moved here in 2008 talk about it the way New Yorkers talk about the Lower East Side in the 90s. Get in now or watch the prices do what prices always do. Picture a Thursday evening in October. You are on a patio on the square. 68 degrees. The Opera House is putting on a show, and your entire year's property tax bill is sitting in your jacket pocket, smaller than what you used to pay your dentist for a single crown. That is Granbury. Number 9. Brenham. Welcome to the town that literally smells like ice cream. And no, that is not a metaphor. Bluebell Creameries has been churning ice cream in Brenham since 1907. And on the right wind, the entire town smells faintly of vanilla. There are worse things to retire into than a permanent dessert scent. Brenham sits halfway between Houston and Austin, with a population of around 21,000. It is the seat of Washington County, which most Texans cannot find on a map, and the ones who can are not telling. The downtown looks like it was painted by someone who was paid by the cobblestone. Antique shops, a coffee roaster, a bookstore with a cat that judges you when you walk in. And the Barnhill Center, a beautifully restored historic theater that hosts everything from bluegrass to ballet. Median home prices hover in the mid-300s. Property taxes are reasonable by Texas standards, which is its own joke because Texas has some of the higher property tax rates in the country. But here is the trade-off: no state income tax. And for retirees pulling money out of an IRA, that math gets interesting fast. Healthcare is the real surprise. CHI St. Joseph Health runs a regional hospital right in town. But the bigger story? The Texas Medical Center in Houston, the largest medical complex on Earth, is just 90 minutes down US 29. Oh, you can drive to MD Anderson Cancer Center before lunch and be back in time for ice cream. That sentence should not be possible. In Brenham, it is. The wildflowers in spring are the kind people drive 4 hours just to see. Retirees hear garden, volunteer at the antique mall, and hold strong opinions about which Bluebell flavor is best. The correct answer, by the way, is homemade vanilla. Do not let anyone tell you otherwise. Number 8. Marble Falls. 60 miles northwest of Austin, the Colorado River widens out, slows down, and forms a chain of lakes called the Highland Lakes. Marble Falls sits right on one of them, and it is quietly one of the smartest moves a retiree can make in this entire state. Population? Around 10,000 and climbing fast. Median home prices? Low 400s, which by hill country standards is genuinely reasonable. Next door, Horseshoe Bay has homes pushing well past $1 million. Marble Falls is the working person's version of that same lake life, and that is the entire point. The climate is what people from Minnesota dream about at 3 a.m. in February. Mild winters, warm springs, brutally honest summers, and falls that go on for months. Retirees here boat in the morning, eat barbecue at lunch, and watch the sunset from a patio at the Blue Bonnet Cafe, which has been serving pie since 1929 and is the only acceptable answer to the question, where should we get dessert? Here is where Marble Falls quietly outperforms towns twice its size. Healthcare is anchored by Baylor Scott and White Medical Center. Marble Falls, a full-service hospital that has been recognized among the top rural hospitals in the country in past rankings. For a town this small, that level of medical infrastructure is almost unheard of. And most lake towns die in winter. Marble Falls does not. There is a community theater, an active arts council, and a winter visitor population that swells the town with retirees from Iowa who would rather be cold near a Texas lake than cold near a snowblower in Cedar Rapids. The honest drawback? Austin Bergstrom Airport is about an hour away on a good traffic day, which in Austin means roughly twice a year. If grandkids fly in often, that drive matters. But would you trade airport convenience for a sunset over Lake Marble Falls in October? Some people would not. Others have already sold the house in Pittsburgh. Number 7. Wimberley. Now we get to the artist colony hiding in the woods. Wimberley is technically classified as a small city, which is its first weird flex because the population is only around 3,000, depending on how you count the people living in cabins down dirt roads who refuse to participate in the census on principle. The town sits between Austin and San Antonio, surrounded by cypress trees and the Blanco River. Water that runs so clear and cold it looks fake. It is, hands down, one of the most beautiful swimming holes in the state. Fair warning on the numbers. Median home prices are higher than you might expect. Mid to high 500s. Wimberley was discovered, then rediscovered, then aggressively rediscovered, and the prices have caught up. But the people who live here are not paying for square footage. They are paying for a specific lifestyle that does not exist in many other zip codes. That lifestyle? Market days on the first Saturday of every month from April through December, where hundreds of vendors set up in a field and sell everything from handmade jewelry to vintage windmills. Live music at the Corral Theater, an outdoor venue literally carved into a hillside. Galleries on the square selling real art by real artists who live within a 10-mile radius. Retirees here fall into two camps. the ones who moved to slow down, and the ones who moved to finally do the thing they always wanted to do: sculpture, painting, writing the novel that has been sitting in a drawer since 1994. The town supports this in a way that suburban subdivisions actively cannot. Now, the honest part: healthcare is a soft spot. Wimberley has clinics, but no hospital. You drive to San Marcos, 20 minutes away, or to Austin, 45 minutes, for anything serious. And you have to be honest about the river. The Blanco has flooded before, and it will flood again. The 2015 flood devastated parts of Wimberley, and the wider hill country saw catastrophic flooding again in the summer of 2025. The community knows what this river is capable of. They rebuild. They take it seriously. Ask anyone there about it, and you will get a story. Ask them why they stayed, and you will get a much longer one. Number 6. Boerne. Boerne sits about 30 miles northwest of San Antonio with a population of around 14,000. And it is the kind of place where the main street is called Hauptstrasse, without irony. There is a German bakery. There is a German butcher shop. There is an annual Burgess Fest with polka music, lederhosen, and beer steins the size of small children. The town leans into its heritage the way some towns lean into their high school football team. Median home prices have climbed into the low to mid 600s, which is the price you pay for being 30 minutes from a major city with no state income tax and excellent hospitals nearby. Methodist healthcare has a direct presence in Boerne itself, and the drive to the larger Methodist campuses in San Antonio is shorter than most Houston commutes. But here is what makes Boerne genuinely different from every other hill country town on this list. It is truly walkable. The downtown is compact, flat, and laid out so that a retiree with a walker, or a cane, or just a tired knee can get from a coffee shop to a bookstore to a wine bar without crossing a single dangerous intersection. That is not nothing. That is, in fact, increasingly everything when you are 70 and your driving radius is shrinking. Retirees here garden. They hike at the Cibolo Center for Conservation. They treat the local farmers market like a weekly board meeting and show up with strong opinions about tomatoes. Picture this: Saturday morning in March. You're walking down Hauptstrasse with a coffee in your hand. 65 degrees. A guy in lederhosen is tuning an accordion in the town square because a festival is starting at noon. You are 7 minutes from a 4-bedroom house you own outright. The man in lederhosen? He is probably also retired. This is just a Tuesday in Boerne. It is just dressed up. Number 5. Fredericksburg. You knew Fredericksburg was going to be on this list, and I am going to tell you something almost nobody else will. The Fredericksburg you have heard about is not the Fredericksburg retirees actually live in. Those are two completely different towns sharing the same zip code. Tourist Fredericksburg is wine, hundreds of wineries, weekend bachelorette parties spilling out of party buses, traffic on Main Street that makes you question your life choices. That Fredericksburg is real, and it is exhausting. Retiree Fredericksburg is something else entirely. A town of around 12,000 people in Gillespie County, with the National Museum of the Pacific War right downtown, the LBJ Ranch 30 minutes east, and Enchanted Rock 15 minutes north. A massive pink granite dome that retirees climb at sunrise on principle. Median home prices have climbed into the high 600s and beyond. That is the price of Fredericksburg becoming a destination. But here's the workaround smart retirees use. The towns surrounding Fredericksburg, Stonewall, Harper, and Comfort all offer significantly lower entry points, while still putting you inside the Fredericksburg gravitational field. Healthcare here is exceptional for a town this size. Hill Country Memorial Hospital has been recognized among the top 100 rural and community hospitals in the country, with patient experience awards that put it ahead of most rural facilities in the entire state. That is a national tier ranking in a town of 12,000, and the German heritage runs even deeper than Born. Fredericksburg was founded in 1846 by German immigrants who carved a town out of raw frontier. The architecture, the food, the festivals, the family names on the storefronts, all still German. A town with a story that started before the Civil War tends to hold on to its character in a way that suburban developments built in 2003 simply never will. The honest drawback? The tourism. From March through October, weekends fill up fast. If quiet is your top priority, you live just outside the city limits and visit downtown on Tuesday mornings. That is the secret retirees here already know. Number 4. New Braunfels. This is the one most lists miss because they cannot decide whether to call it a small town or a small city. New Braunfels sits halfway between San Antonio and Austin on Interstate 35, with a population around 100,000, and rising fast. It was founded in 1845 by a German prince named Karl, who sailed to Texas, established a colony, and then died of disease within a year. The town he founded is now one of the fastest growing places in America, which is either deeply ironic or strangely fitting, depending on how you read history. Median home prices in New Braunfels sit in the low 300s, which for a town inside the San Antonio metro is borderline absurd. You get access to one of the country's most distinctive small downtowns, Gruene Hall, the oldest continually operating dance hall in Texas, and two rivers, the Comal and the Guadalupe, running right through and around town. Healthcare is the unexpected strength here. Christus Santa Rosa Hospital, New Braunfels, and Resolute Health Hospital are both serious facilities inside the city limits. And the entire San Antonio medical infrastructure is just 30 minutes south on EB35. But what really makes New Braunfels work for retirees specifically is the demographic mix. The town has young families, college students from nearby Texas State, and a steady population of retirees who chose it precisely because it does not feel like a retirement community. There are 55-plus neighborhoods if you want that, but the town itself is just a town, full of the energy that comes from people in every life stage living in the same place. The catch? Growth. Traffic on I-35 between San Antonio and Austin is one of the worst stretches of highway in the country, and New Braunfels sits right in the middle of it. Retirees here learn the back roads fast. But the trade-off is real. Real downtown, real healthcare, real rivers, real history, and a tax structure that genuinely works for people on a fixed income. Number 3. Salado. Welcome to the village that refused to incorporate for over 140 years. Salado sits right on Interstate 35 between Austin and Waco, and most of the millions of people who drive past it every single year have no idea what they are missing. Population? Around 2,500. The town was founded in 1859 around a creek that runs cold and clear from natural springs. And here's the part that tells you everything you need to know about this place. Salado did not officially incorporate until the year 2000. For more than 140 years, it existed as a community by mutual agreement, not by municipal charter. That kind of stubborn informality tells you exactly what kind of town this is. Median home prices sit around $500,000 because Salado has been a destination for art and antiques for decades. There are galleries everywhere. sculpture parks featuring large-scale outdoor works, a community of working artists who have quietly made this town their home. The Stagecoach Inn, sitting on the historic Chisholm Trail route, dates back to 1861, making it one of the oldest hospitality businesses in all of Texas. Sam Houston himself is said to have stayed there. Generations of retirees have eaten the fried chicken there. What makes Salado different from every other small Texas town is the cultural density per capita. With just 2,500 people, this town somehow supports multiple galleries, a Shakespeare festival every summer, the Table Rock Outdoor Amphitheater, and more antique shops per square mile than is statistically reasonable. The arts community here is not a marketing gimmick, it is the town. Healthcare is the soft spot. For anything serious, you drive to Temple, 20 minutes north, where Baylor Scott & White runs a major medical complex anchored by their flagship hospital. Short enough not to be a deal breaker, long enough to factor into the math. Imagine this: Friday evening, stone patio at a local winery, a jazz trio playing in the corner. 70 degrees. You moved here from Cincinnati 6 years ago because your cousin retired here first and would not stop talking about it. You now understand why she would not stop. You have also become that cousin. This is how Salado grows. Number 2, Georgetown. This is the one most retirement list put at number 1. And I am going to explain, clearly, why I have it at number 2. Georgetown sits about 26 miles north of Austin with a population around 90,000 and growing fast enough that the census cannot keep up. It is home to Sun City, Texas, a Del Webb 55-plus community with over 15,000 residents across more than 8,000 homes. That is real scale. Sun City alone is bigger than most towns on this entire list. 3 golf courses, multiple fitness centers, pickleball courts everywhere, woodworking shops, and well over 100 resident clubs, covering every interest from bridge to motorcycle riding to genealogy research. Median home prices in Georgetown sit in the high 300s to low 400s for general housing, with Sun City entry points starting in the mid 300s for smaller new builds. That is the kind of accessibility that turns retirement spreadsheets into yes columns. Healthcare here is exceptional. St. David's Georgetown Hospital is right in town. Baylor Scott & White Medical Center. Round Rock is 15 minutes south. And the entire Austin medical infrastructure is within a 40-minute drive. For retirees who put healthcare access at the top of the list, Georgetown is in the top tier of the entire state. The downtown square is one of the most beautiful in Texas. The Williamson County Courthouse, built in 1911, anchors the center, surrounded by Victorian buildings now housing restaurants, boutiques, and a bookstore that hosts author readings retirees actually attend. So why is it not number 1? Growth. Traffic on Interstate 35 has officially become a national punchline. The town that was sleepy in 2005 now has Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, and the kind of suburban sprawl that retirees often move to small towns specifically to escape. If you want quiet, you live on the west side and stay off the 35 between 3 and 7 p.m. But the trade-off is real. A small town downtown, a massive built-in retiree community, world-class healthcare, and proximity to one of the most dynamic cities in America. For a lot of retirees, that combination is unbeatable. It is just not number 1. Number 1, Mineola. 80 miles east of Dallas in Wood County sits a town of about 5,000 people that almost nobody outside East Texas has ever heard of. And that is exactly why it is number 1. Mineola sits on the Amtrak Texas Eagle Line, which means you can board a train at the historic depot and ride directly to Chicago or all the way to Los Angeles without ever driving to an airport. That alone makes this town weirder than it has any right to be. Median home prices in Mineola sit around $250,000. In a state where every other town on this list starts in the 300s minimum, Mineola is holding on to housing prices that look like they were copy-pasted from another decade. The downtown is on the National Register of Historic Places. Brick streets, a restored train depot, an opera house from 1893 that still hosts performances, and a small-town Main Street that has somehow avoided being either gentrified into a wine bar destination or hollowed out by Walmart. Both fates have claimed thousands of small Texas towns. Mineola escaped both. Now, healthcare. You have to be honest. Mineola has clinics, including a UT Health East Texas Family Medicine location, but no full hospital in town. The nearest hospital is UT Health Quitman, about 10 miles away. Beyond that, UT Health Tyler, the flagship of the entire UT Health East Texas system, with over 400 beds and 500 physicians, is roughly 30 minutes east. For routine care and most emergencies, the access is reasonable. For anything more complex, that 30-minute drive becomes part of the math. The Mineola Nature Preserve is nearly 3,000 acres of woods, wetlands, and the Sabine River. The piney woods of East Texas are nothing like the rest of the state. You get actual seasons, fall colors that rival New England, spring dogwoods, summers cut by the shade of 100-foot pines. A retiree named David who moved here from Denver said the thing nobody puts in the retirement brochures. He said, "The silence here is loud, not empty. Loud crickets, owls, train whistles at 2 a.m. that you stop noticing after a week. The kind of silence you forgot was an option." Mineola is number one because it does the rarest thing in American retirement. It delivers real community, real downtown character, and real affordability in a state with no income tax. And it does it without pretending the healthcare situation is something it isn't. The retirees who have found it know the trade-off, and they made it on purpose. You have heard of it now. So there it is. 10 Texas towns where retirees are not just sitting around waiting for the mail. They are actually thriving. From the lakeside porches of Granbury, to the ice cream air of Brenham, to the loud silence of Mineola, these are the places the brochures forgot, and the smart retirees already found. Here's the truth nobody puts on a billboard. The best retirement is not about palm trees or perfect weather. It is about affordability, healthcare, community, and character, all in the same zip code. Texas delivers that combination in ways most people never bother to look for. So tell me, which town surprised you the most? Which one did I unfairly leave off the list? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. And if this video shifted your thinking even a little, hit that like button, subscribe, and stick around. The next one might just change your retirement entirely.